Um, Moses also parted the D, not the C, with a lovely chip and chase. Fergo should have got a 4 points at the end just for the acrobatics. Maybe 10 points from the judges. The King was singing the bye-bye of the Tigers. And David Hunter says, West Tigers tried to play an in-your-face style, but the class of the Eels told in the end, was never worried, well, maybe after the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, they started brilliantly, didn't they, the Tigers?
Yeah, they were definitely physical to start with, and it really made a difference. But yeah, the Eels are just too good, ultimately.
Yeah, and it was the pack, in reality, that drove it home. Like Campbell Gillard and Paolo were just absolutely outstanding, I thought, especially in the sort of second half spell. That kind of just wore the Tigers down so that they didn't have enough to come back into it.
Yeah,
and Moses being back was key as well.
Yeah,
I mean his chip and chase is that lovely, like Alan said. It was the Cowboys 12, the Seagulls 24. Carsten got in touch. He said, new coach, same ball game. We were close, but still so far away, and our defence is still shit.
Yeah. Carsten's sums that up very well. The Cowboys just can't defend, and Manly just strolled home in this one, even though it was closer on the scoreboard than actually it felt like in the match.
They did have a number of the big hitters back, didn't they, as well, the Sea Eagles, in terms of the pack, which helped.
Yeah, they had old wife beater back, didn't they? They're still missing a lot of players, obviously, but they got performances out of their stand-ins today, so that was good for them. It finished Broncos 8, Storm 46. Broncos form continuing. Herbie did play. He got a try and 101 metres. Alan Walker again said, no shock here. One thing, the first Hughes try, I've never seen defenders fall away from a tackle when the tackle wasn't even moving. Hughes just waited till he looked away and he strolled in. Does he have COVID? Because he wasn't wearing a mask. Broncos followed the 2 metre physical distance rule. When you're going shit, you can always get shitter. And Matt Butler says, poor Anthony Seibold. A few years ago, he was being presented with his League One Coach of the Year award by Michelle Keegan. Now he's sitting behind a pane of glass looking like a man, watching his own grave being dug week after week. Life's hard.
Meeting Michelle Keegan and basically be digging my own grave of the way my wife reacts to stuff like that. I spoke to my Uncle Liam after this game, and he said, where's that Herbie Farnworth come from? Because obviously he didn't watch much NRL, and he never was around the game massively here, was he, before he moved over there?
No.
But yeah, Herbie's he's good value in a terrible side, isn't he?
I saw a couple of people being a bit, talking about representative honours. He's not there, but he plays reasonably well in a team that is frankly shit. So yeah, he's coming out of it with some credit, unlike a lot of other players around him.
Yeah. The Warriors. It was the Warriors 10, the Roosters 18, closer than maybe many expected. Lee Whitnell got in touch and he said, I expected the Roosters to deliver one of their patented spankings in this one, but the Warriors came out swinging and made a game of it. The quality of Luke Keary was the difference between the two sides in the end, as the Chucks edged the win.
Yeah. It was the Sharks 28, Dragons 24. Lee obviously got his chance to watch his NRL. He's been in touch again. But, I agree with his first point. I normally find Cronulla Sharks games as appealing as smearing my scrotum with a fish guts and going for a swim with actual sharks. So this game was a real surprise. Entertaining stuff from both teams with some wonderful tries. I was on the edge of my seat at the end, cheering the Dragons home. If Dufty had capped an excellent game by grounding a Hunt grubber, it would have provided the perfect ending. There was a controversial try for Cronulla which caused an outcry from the Saints coach and fans, but the Bunkers subsequently denied what looked like a good Sharks try, which felt like them making amends for the error. It's not right, but no one's talking about that bit, so I'm not sure if the final result would have been different. It was a howler from the bunker, though. Did you see this one?
No, I didn't watch this one. I'm aware that there was a issue, but I didn't see it.
Basically, they gave it as a Sharks try where I think it was Duffy. He'd clearly grounded it for a dropout. And they only looked at it once and then he gave it straight away. But on like the second and third replays, you could clearly see that it had been grounded in goal. But yeah, who can say? It was early on in the game, so I think it was the first try. So
oh right, yeah, well,
it wasn't like the last play of the game. So a lot of water went under the bridge after that.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was the Sharks' first try, so it was St George were in the lead. Zach Lomax continues to impress. He's going to get talked about for Blues contention, isn't he, in the near future as well?
Very good centre.
Talking about young players who are going to probably get hyped up for rep honours before maybe they're ready. He's going to be one of them. Raiders 18, Rabbitohs 12. Elliot Whitehead credited with a try assist and 40 tackles. Ryan Sutton was maybe the pick of the English players all weekend. 58 tackles and 122 metres from him. Williams played his part as well for the Rabbitohs. Tom Burgess with 181 metres, but that wasn't enough. Lee Whitnell said, "A perfect Saturday morning complete with 3 back-to-back NRL games. This was another enjoyable one, with the slippery conditions adding extra jeopardy and both teams really going for it. Of all the English players on show, losing Rabbitoh Tom Burgess was the most impressive," Lee says. South visibly lifted when he was on the field. Canberra were worth the win, though, with Whitehead's completely planned trick play icing it. And Mark Butler said, "Absorbing games between the Greens and the Greens. You feared the Greens early on as the Greens raced into an early lead, turning half chances into tries, while the Greens wasted good opportunities. The Greens did hit back to lead at the break, but a penalty and another try proved to be enough for the Greens' second half. The Greens will be disappointed with a wasteful play, whilst the Greens were efficient. Change kits."
Yes. The kit clash in this one was fucking stupid.
But I think it's because this year the Rabbitohs have gone with the really interesting choice of how to differentiate their home and away kits by just putting white trim on the home kits and black trim on the away kits.
So it's exactly the same, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what happened to that white kit that they sometimes have. What happened to that? Or even Cronulla could have worn a white kit. To be honest, Canberra, sorry, but to be honest, the more it went on, the more it was absorbing enough, and the lime green of Canberra was just enough to note a difference in it for me. Elliot Whitehead stepping up, putting the kick in, getting a lucky break, but still, I think they deserve the Raiders. I think once the game got wet, the Raiders were far better. They still played some rugby, but they didn't make as many bad mistakes. I don't think they put themselves under as much pressure with mistakes that they made. And I think they deserved it. And obviously there was the issue, weren't there, with having to play 3 different fullbacks during the game. So their injury woes continue, and yet still they managed to hang on and win. So it shows the character of this side, built through some British steel that's in there as well.
Yeah, quietly, Whitehead's probably one of the second rows of the year. But, I
think the problem he's got is there's been some explosive performances at a couple of the top 2, like at the Panthers and at the Eels, hasn't there been?
Oh, yeah. There's more attention-grabbing players than him. Yeah. But just whenever I see him, he's just efficient and he just does his job.
He's an absolute leader on that team, isn't he?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And he's as you say, he's good kind of attacking defence, and yeah, he's been excellent for them this year.
He steps up at big moments as well.
Yeah,
I can't say enough positive about Elliot Whitehead.
Yeah,
it's been that way for a while.
Yeah. More wet weather was in this one. It finished the Knights 12, Bulldogs 18 in absolutely torrential conditions. At Newcastle, Thompson played. He had 42 tackles and 139 metres, getting definitely getting up to speed. David Hunter says, if only the whole season could be played in pouring rain and miserable conditions, the Bulldogs would be a top 4 side. It did feel like that. Basically, the conditions, which were monsoon-like, basically took away any options. So the boring, conservative play that the Bulldogs play with anyway fitted the conditions perfectly. And the Knights just were diabolical and kept dropping it. So Bulldogs completely deserved this.
Which is very un-Knights-like this year, isn't it? They've been so efficient and getting to the kicks and managing the game, and then just relying on those couple of sparks of brilliance from the odd skill player they've got.
Yeah, and it looked like middle of the second half they were going to come back. They scored kind of 2 tries back to back, and it looked like they were going to run them down. But yeah, they just couldn't do it. And it's I always like an underdog coming back and winning a match. So yeah, I'm glad the Bulldogs won this one.
And David gave us a mini hypothetical RL situation there for for himself to make sure we plugged his podcast. The round finished with the Titans 14, the Panthers 22. So good effort by the Titans, really. In the end, it was just too much class to see out the second half from the Panthers.
Well, it was close at half-time. Half-time, wasn't it, where it really shouldn't have been, because the Panthers were way better, and they only went in 2 points ahead.
I only watched the second half, where the Panthers were controlling, I thought.
Yes. I mean, basically, the first half, it was played almost entirely in the Titans' half. They had a breakaway try, which was taken really well, and then Anthony Don got his try, as he always seems to do, and they scored one more. So yeah, they were only 2 points behind at the break, 3 tries each. But yeah, the Panthers just controlled it in the second half. They never looked like they were going to lose it, even though it was close on the scoreboard.
Fair enough. In the standings then, the Panthers with 19 points stay top. The Storm are second ahead of the Eels on points difference. Both have 18 points. Roosters and Raiders have 14, with the Knights in 6th on 13 points. Sharks and Seagulls make up the top 8, both have 12. West Tigers and Rabbitohs just sit just outside the 8 on 10 points each. The Dragons have 8. The Cowboys, Warriors, Titans and Broncos have 6. And the Bulldogs move on to 4 points but stay bottom. And that is it for match reviews this week. We're now going to move into, yes, that's right, we've got another section back. We're now going to move into preview and predictions. Alright guys, Super League is back this coming Sunday. We have 2 of the catch-up games to make up for fixtures missed in the early going before the break. It's a doubleheader played out of Headingley. It starts with St Helens versus Catalans, Sunday at 4:15 p.m. Do you know what we haven't talked about? We haven't talked about the cardboard cutouts. Hopefully I'm going to be in attendance at this game. We'll see in my Super League pod hat. Let's see.
We'll see if we can spot you.
Well, I haven't had a confirmation email from the people, but they've taken my money.
Oh, well, I'd hope that's your confirmation.
Very rugby league, isn't it? Anyway, that's Sunday at 4:15 p.m. So St Helens, the reigning champions, versus Catalans, who had a strong start to the season. Where do we go with these predictions with this long break? Make any sense of it?
Oh, just guess. It's a guess, isn't it? Who knows?
There's a couple of bits to talk about in the St Helens don't have Luke Thompson, who probably was the perfect forward for the new rules of no scrums and 6 again, because he's the fittest forward and the best forward in the competition, but he's not in the competition anymore. They've replaced him with James Graham, who's at the other end of the higher end of the age scale, maybe doesn't have quite the same engine, but still going to be a contributor. For the Catalans, they're missing Sam Tompkins, something that Super League's official Twitter account missed, but Sam spotted himself straight away and made sure we were aware of it before we made our predictions, because I think it swings things. Because I was going to say Catalans with their clever players, because everyone focuses on this 6 again being hookers are going to dominate. It's not hookers necessarily in the early going of this rule that dominate, because it wasn't in the NRL.
No.
It's clever players, clever and quick players. So if your hooker can get the ball out of his hands to a clever, quick player quickly, you're going to benefit still, just as much as if that hooker can do good runs out of dummy half himself.